Let's do a deeper dive into the topics of micro and macro nutrients essential for thyroid health. We'll also talk a little bit about how cortisol impacts thyroid function. So iodine is something that is a little bit controversial when it comes to thyroid health. I see of it as a Goldilocks. You don't want too much and you don't want too little. So iodine is an essential compound of thyroid hormones. This is what gives T3, T4, T2 its names, how many iodine molecules are attached. And its deficiency can lead to thyroid disorders. We know this in third world countries. And signs of extreme iron deficiency, they do get goiters. So in these regions that have this, they develop these goiters and then hypothyroidism. But we also don't want too much iodine because that can lead to some diagnosis of Hashimoto. So we want it to be that Goldilocks. So it's important to ensure an adequate intake of iodine-rich foods like seafood and seaweed, but you don't want to overdo it. And that's what happens a lot of the times. So selenium is a powerful antioxidant that plays a crucial role in the conversion of the inactive thyroid hormone T4 to the active thyroid hormone T3. Without the sufficient selenium, this conversion can be impaired, and this can lead to imbalance of the thyroid hormone. And I do see this a lot in clinical practice where T4 will be normal and then T3 will be really low. And we can't have that imbalance because T3 is the active thyroid hormone. Selenium-rich foods include Brazil nuts, fish, turkey, and sunflower seeds. And this can really support your thyroid health in that conversion. So with this, we will move on to protein. So you wouldn't think of protein as something you need for your thyroid. It absolutely is. Amino acids from dietary protein are essential for the synthesis of thyroid hormones. The thyroid gland requires the amino acid tyrosine to produce thyroxine T4 and thyrodoxin T3. Incorporating lean meats and other meats like red meats, poultry, fish, eggs, and legumes into your diet are essential for the building blocks of thyroid hormone production. So amino acids and protein also have so many other benefits. Carbohydrates, too, are really helpful with maintaining healthy thyroid function. And they can also help with that T4 to T3 conversion. Why is this? Sometimes if diets are way too low in carbohydrates, that can lead to decreased T3 levels as your body feels like it's going into starvation mode. This more so, I'm talking about women in the luteal phase, where we might feel a little bit too stressed if we're not providing those carbs to help with the progesterone and support our normal menstrual phase. Some micronutrients that are needed, vitamin D. Vitamin D should be between 50 and 70. If you look at the actual lab markers, they only flag it if it's less than 30. And that's really, really low if it's flagged. You want it to be between 50 and 70. So vitamin D is crucial for thyroid hormone production and function. It helps regulate the immune system and can help prevent autoimmune diseases. Natural sources of vitamin D include fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, dairy products, and exposure to sunlight. But I will say this is low in so many people. We're not getting that sunlight. We're not getting that D3 conversion. If you are taking D3, I would like you to take it with K2 also. Vitamin A is essential for maintaining thyroid hormone receptor sensitivity, and it supports the body's ability to respond to the thyroid hormones properly. Foods rich in vitamin A include carrots, sweet potato, leafy greens, and liver. And beef liver is just jam-packed with B vitamins also. And B vitamins, such as vitamin B12, is really important for thyroid health. Vitamin B12 is involved in the production of DNA and RNA in thyroid cells, and a deficiency can lead to thyroid function that may contribute to thyroid disorders. Animal-based foods such as meat, fish, dairy products are a good source of B12 and beef liver, like I mentioned before. Zinc. Zinc is necessary for the synthesis and conversion of thyroid hormones. It plays a role in protecting the thyroid gland from oxidative stress also. And men out there, zinc is really important for testosterone production. So include zinc-rich foods like beef, nuts, and legumes in your diet to support thyroid health. Now let's dive in a little bit to how cortisol impacts thyroid health. So cortisol is a hormone produced by our adrenal glands in response to stress, and this can really have a big effect on thyroid function. The problem is that we are chronically stressed. It's not just like it used to be. We're not just running from the bears. We feel chronic stress all the time, and this is really impacting our thyroid function. Chronic stress, which many of us are under, can elevated cortisol levels can inhibit thyroid hormone conversion. So this high cortisol levels can disrupt the conversion of the inactive thyroid T4 to the active form T3 in our peripheral tissues. And this can lead to symptoms of hypothyroidism or poor functioning thyroid, even if the TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone levels appear normal. So this is when you're going into your doctor, you're like, I feel bad. And they're like, okay, we'll check your TSH, and your TSH is normal. And that's the end of it. But really, your other thyroid labs, the T4 and T3, are abnormal. Chronic stress and elevated cortisol can alter the hypothalamic pituitary thyroid, the HPT axis. Prolonged stress can disrupt the feedback loop between the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and thyroid gland, and this can result in a dysfunction of thyroid hormone production. Chronic stress and elevated cortisol can promote autoimmune thyroid conditions. This chronic stress and elevated cortisol levels may increase the risk of developing autoimmune thyroid diseases such as Hashimoto's and Graves' disease. And I see this all the time in my office. As we are getting more and more stressed, especially post-pandemic, we're seeing a record number of cases of autoimmune diseases. And this chronic stress, which can also be due to chronic viral infections, can really have a profound effect on autoimmune diseases. So if you like this information and that helped out, there's much more. So follow this podcast, check out my YouTube, where we dive into even more about thyroid health and how to get the best thyroid health